10 minutes to read a book today. We read the philosopher Anjin Iwata and the author Guhe Shijian's Happy Courage. This book is the hateful courage and deep exploration of Adler psychology in practice. If the hateful courage teaches us how to free, then the courage tells us how to use this freedom to create true happiness. This book continues the dialogue form through the deep communication and to reveal a shocking truth for that. We pursuing happiness way. In this time competition, everyone is trying to pursue success, wealth, recognition, but the harder it, the more empty it is. This book answers the most urgent question: what is real happiness and how to this happiness? Let's start reading together the book of the first part of Understand the Essence of Again. Many people understand happiness as a feeling and think, as long as feel happy, they happy. But Adler psychology tells us that this understanding is shallow. The philosopher took a profound example. A child will feel happy, but this happiness is immediate. Soon he will want more candy. This kind based on external stimuli will make addicted. It constant increase in energy to maintain the same sense of what is real happiness. In gives a deep definition of happiness is a sense of when you feel that you are valued others and can help others. That sense of is real happiness. This explains why many people still feel empty, because their success may just be prove themselves and not to contribute others. In a touching case was that a mother prepared breakfast although this is a normal thing, when she realized that this breakfast was full of goods for her family and his family start a new day, he experienced true happiness. This happiness does depend on external recognition, and because no one praises, because it is in the of inner contribution. Adler said a classic saying, all worries come from human relations. But he also pointed out that all happiness comes from human relations. When we can find our place and our own contribution to others, happiness will naturally arise. This is like a flower, not to be appreciated, but because the bloom itself is its value. This kind contribution can be grand, such as the scientists to invent, and human beings can be a little small, such to strangers. The key is the size, and whether you truly want to do something for. This understanding lets us re-examine of ordinary life. We that happiness is right beside us, right in every good deed of. The second part, embrace and cooperate in life. The biggest misunderstandings is to life as a competition. From childhood to adulthood, we were taught to surpass others, to be the first, to more successful. But this kind competitive thinking is the biggest enemy. The talks with philosopher deep in of competing thinking. In book of he complained that if you don't compete, how can you progress? How can you succeed? The director replied, you misunderstood life. Life is against others, but a race against yourself. This sentence brings out the truth of, when we turn our attention from surpassing others to surpass ourselves, the anxiety and jealousy will disappear. Instead of the inner peace and continuous growth, tells a vivid story with two reasons. One of is observing the garden and flowers are more beautiful. Asa, always depressed. Another gardener is focused taking of his own garden. Every day, he the subtle changes enjoys of with the plants and is filled with joy. This story shows the competitive thinking and cooperative thinking. Adler proposed an important concept, the sense of which means we have to ourselves as the human community, not individuals fighting alone. When others succeed, we should be jealous, but should the human community. This kind thinking sounds ideal, but it can bring inner liberation. As the says, jealousy is a poison. It not only hurts others, also will corrupts one's soul. The third part, have the courage. We are by those heroic deeds, that only doing something that will shock the world is called courage. But the gives a completely different answer. The real courage is ordinary courage. This is accepting the ordinary self, finding the meaning and value. What is ordinary courage? The philosopher explains, in that ordinary courage is no longer to pursue special existence, but to interfere in the unordinary person. This sentence sounds simple, but it really needs a lot of strength, because modern society constantly tells us to be different and have different ideas. Let us not think that special people have value. The tells a story, ordinary cleaner. This cleaner arrives at the office building and cleans every corner. Someone curiously asked him, "Don't you think boring?" The replied, "My job is to create a clean and comfortable environment so that everyone can start a new day." I think it's very meaningful. This cleaner shows the ordinary people. He didn't do anything extraordinary, and he didn't get any social reputation. But he found value and dignity. He doesn't need other people's approval to prove his value, because he knows of his work. The courage of people is in the act of their imperfections. Many people suffer because they can't accept their ordinary people. They always dream that they should better and more special. Once find that they are just ordinary people, will feel deeply disappointed and wronged. But the point out that this special pursuit itself is the root of that. In words, everyone is unique, but this kind of uniqueness does need to be comparison with when we no longer pursue the special existence. We can focus on doing the right thing, focusing on creating value. He also mentions a profound point view. The courage is the courage. This means that we don't need to anything special to prove our value. Just existing itself is enough. Just like a tree, it doesn't need touch the sweetest fruit to have value. Just to stand there, then provide oxygen and green energy is already very meaningful. This kind knowledge will bring great liberation. When we are longer having to become a special person, we can calmly face the ups and downs. We achieved the expected results, nor will because of others. We just do what we should do and find meaning. This courage is to true happiness. Fourth, Adler's deep view of the problem of human-being relationship is to avoiding human-being relationship. In fact, Adler means that since problems are by human-being relationship, then the solution must be human-being relationship. The is to establish the correct relationship model. What is the relationship model? The gives a clear answer. Parallel relationship, not parallel relationship. In parallel relationships, there is a level difference. Some people high, some people are low. This relationship model must lead to the other, and other is judged. And in parallel relationships, everyone is and has their own unique value. Respect other and support other. This involves a very important concept, the difference between praise and encouragement. Because whether it is praise or criticism, there is a hidden relationship, a kind of above-below evaluation. When you say you're great, your previous words are, "I'm you, I have the right to judge you." This relationship seems warm, but it is actually cultivating a person's dependence, the will to get your praise, not out of love and responsibility. Once the praise disappears, his behavior will disappear. What's more terrible is that a who is used to being will not live in the evaluation system. His life goal has become how to get more good reviews, and he has lost himself. That does praise or criticize. What should do? Adler gave answer is encouragement. What's encouragement and praise? For example, the wrote you late. Praise is that you great. Really a good kid, and encouragement is to say thank you for helping me share his housework. I feel much more. The former is to evaluate the child. This person is to thank him for behavior and express his true feelings. The 2 points are your encouragement and point is my feeling, and thanks encouragement is based on horizontal relationship. That he passed on was that we are equal partners. Your existence and your contribution are very valuable too. This feeling, Adler called it sense of, and this is human happiness. In tells a story of education that a child always gets. Trouble at the teacher and parents are very worried. The traditional practice is criticism and punishment, but this will only make the child more rebellious. Later, a teacher knows Adler's psychology changed the strategy. He no longer puts himself in high, but he with an equal attitude. He began to pay to this child and assign him some that he do. Let him feel that what he needs is valuable. Gradually, this child has a magical change. He no longer deliberately break goods, but actively maintain the order of, even actively help other classmates. This transformation is that the teacher establishes horizontal relationship. The child feel respected and trusted, and stimulates his inner positive motivation. Happiness Courage has drawn a brand new life path for here. Happiness is of external recognition, but the manifestation of courage is the conquering the world, the accepting ordinary self-knowledge. Growth is not the struggle, but the mutual nourishment. Finally, would like share a sentence in to end today's reading. The get happiness is not to pursue special existence, but to be interfere in ordinary things. What you think? Welcome to the comments section.